Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going on a fantastic journey deep into the animal world. We're going to discover some of the truly amazing ways creatures survive. We'll look at the big challenges every animal faces and the incredible solutions that nature has cooked up.
So, what's our plan? We're going to explore 4 key areas. First, the absolute basic, the breath of life. Then, we'll see where they get their fuel in a menu for survival. After that, we'll look at how they move around as masters of movement. And finally, we'll dive into one of nature's greatest mysteries, the Great Journey.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about breathing. It's the most essential thing for survival, right? Getting that oxygen they need just to live.
Now, we're so used to our own lungs, aren't we? It's easy to forget that not everyone does it our way. So it really makes you wonder, in this huge animal kingdom, with so many different places to live, how did nature solve this problem for everybody else?
Okay, so here's the key idea. It's called respiration. You can think of it like a tiny engine. It's the process of using oxygen to burn food for fuel. And this reaction, well, this is what powers literally everything an animal does, from a lion's powerful roar to the gentle flutter of a butterfly's wings.
And here, you can see the 2 big solutions. On land, animals like us have these spongy lungs, which are just perfect for pulling oxygen out of the air. But underwater, it's a whole different ballgame. Fish have developed these amazing, complex skills that are designed to grab that dissolved oxygen straight out of the water.
And the variety is just incredible. I mean, think about a huge whale. It's a mammal living in the sea, but it still has to come up to the surface to breathe air with its lungs, just like us. And then you have the complete opposite, a tiny amoeba. It has the simplest method you can imagine. It just soaks up oxygen right through its body. 2 totally different creatures, 2 completely unique ways to solve the exact same problem.
And the creativity just keeps going. Insects have this whole network of tiny tubes inside them connected to the outside world by these little holes called spiracles. Earthworms? They just breathe through their skin, which they have to keep moist. And frogs are amazing. They start out with gills as tadpoles, and then as adults, they grow lungs but can also breathe through their skin. How cool is that?
So, the animals have got their oxygen supply sorted. That's the first part of the energy puzzle. But what about the fuel itself? Let's move on and see what's on the menu for survival.
First up, we've got the herbivores. These are your plant eaters, and their bodies are perfectly built for a green diet. You see it especially in their teeth. Sharp ones up front, the incisors for cutting plants, and these big, broad molars in the back for grinding it all down.
And the giraffe is just the classic example, isn't it? An animal whose whole body is shaped by what it eats. That super long neck isn't just for looks, it's a specialized tool that lets it reach those tasty leaves way up high, a meal that no one else on the ground can get to.
Now, on the other side of the dinner table, you have the carnivores, the meat eaters. And as you'd expect, their toolkit is very, very different. They have these sharp, pointed teeth designed for one thing, tearing flesh.
You can see the difference so clearly here. It really all comes down to diet. And for carnivores, it's not just teeth. Look at birds like eagles and vultures. Their sharp, hooked beaks and powerful claws are the perfect weapons for catching and eating their prey.
Okay, so we've got oxygen and we've got food. And that means we have energy. Now let's see how animals actually use that energy to get from A to B.
Let's start in the water. Moving through something as dense as water is a special challenge, you know? It's all about pushing. And aquatic animals have come up with some really beautiful and efficient ways to do it.
Take sea turtles, for example. Their legs have evolved into these amazing paddle-like flippers. Every single stroke pushes them so gracefully through the water, much better than a regular foot would do the job.
And then there are frogs. Their powerful back legs have webbed feet, and that webbing, it makes a huge difference. It increases the surface area, letting them get a much more powerful kick against the water.
Of course, back on land and in the air, the variety is just mind-boggling. You've got the slithering crawl of a snake, the absolute magic of flight in a bird, the explosive hop of a grasshopper, and of course the 4-legged run of a dog. Every environment has its own specialists.
And that brings us to our final topic. And honestly, it's one of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring things in the entire animal kingdom, the great journey of migration.
So, what is migration really? Well, it's a massive group movement. It's an instinctual journey that huge numbers of animals are forced to make, sometimes across enormous distances, just to survive, to find food, escape the weather, or find a safe place to have their young.
Just try to wrap your head around that number, 35,000 kilometers.
The Arctic tern is the long-distance champion, flying from the North Pole to the South Pole and back every single year. It's an unbelievable feat of endurance.
And it isn't just birds. The fragile-looking monarch butterfly flies 4,000 kilometers from Canada all the way down to Mexico. European eels are born in the middle of the ocean and travel over 7,000 kilometers to the rivers of Europe. These are truly epic journeys.
And the salmon's journey is another natural wonder. After spending years out in the ocean, this incredible instinct drives it back to the exact river where it was born, fighting upstream the whole way just so it can reproduce.
And this brings us to the biggest question of all. After everything we've seen, everything we've learned, the greatest mystery is still there. With no maps, no GPS, no compass, how on earth do they know where to go?
You know, we have some clues. We know they use the world around them. They can follow sea currents, use the position of the sun, or follow a coastline for miles. Some can even sense the Earth's magnetic field like an internal compass. But the full picture, how all these creatures navigate so perfectly, year after year, that remains one of nature's most beautiful and fascinating puzzles.